Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vishal and today's topic is on biomechanics of knee joint. So before I start with introduction, we must know what is biomechanics. So biomechanics is the science of the action of forces, internal or external, on the living body to allow locomotion with minimum energy requirement from the muscles, stability, accommodating for different terrains, to transmit, absorb and redistribute the forces caused during the activity of daily life. So let us start with the introduction part. So what is knee joint? So knee joint basically allow the locomotion with minimum energy requirement from the muscles and stability for accommodating for different terrains. It also function as to transmit, absorb and redistribute forces caused during the activity of daily life. So what is knee joint? So knee joint is not a single joint. It's a complex of joint. It consists of two joints. One is your tibiofemoral joint and one is your patellofemoral joint. The tibiofemoral joint functions to transmit the body weight from femur to tibia. Tibiofemoral joint reaction forces is 3 times the body weight while walking and 4 times the body weight while climbing. The motion is basically from 3 degree of hyperextension to 155 degree of flexion. Normal gait requires a range of motion from 0 to 70 degree. So what type of joint it is? So knee joint is not only the hinge joint, it's the arthodial joint where you will see pivoting as well as gliding movements. It has got 6 degree of freedom which includes 3 rotational and 3 translation. In sagittal plane you will have flexion and extension. In frontal plane you have varus and valgus, while in transverse axis you have internal rotation and external rotation. So this figure will show you how the movements will take place in the knee joint. So flexion extension 3 degree of hyperextension to 130 degree of flexion, varus and valgus 6 to 8 degree in extension, while inter external rotation is 25 to 30 degree in flexion, translation AP direction 5 to 10 mm, while compression 2 to 5 mm, and medial lateral there is 1 to 2 mm of translation. So in translation, we have proximal and distal translation, medial and lateral translation, and anterior and posterior translation. So total 3 in numbers. In rotation, we have internal external rotation, flexion extension rotation, and varus and valgus. So total 3. So that I have told you in the previous slides, 6 freedom of rotation, 3 translation, and 3 rotation. Now these pictures will show you how the knee joint is formed. The first picture which you see is the femur, and this area is the articular part of the femur which will articulate with this part of the tibia. Now if you see that femur, you will see this lateral femoral condyle, medial femoral condyle. This is your intracondylar notch or intracondylar fossa. This is medial patellar surface, this is lateral patellar surface, and this is your sulcus. If we come and see what about the proximal part of the tibia which will articulate with this part of the femur, you see you have two plateaus, one is medial and one is lateral. This is the anterior aspect and this is the posterior aspect. Posterior aspect has some slope which I have represented with these two lines, and you can see this medial plateau, the length of the medial plateau, it is very wide or lengthy compared to the lateral side, and because of this in further in one or two slide I will tell you about what is screw home mechanism, and in that this length will help you to understand why this screw home mechanism occurs. Now if you see this X-ray lateral view, what I have shown here, the slope, and you can see here how the slope is formed, and this slope is basically of like, almost like 5 to 10 degrees. Okay, and it varies from individual to individual, and when we do replacement surgery we have to reproduce the same slope of the ipsilateral or opposite limb, or we have to at least keep it normal to have a normal flexion and extension of the knee joint. So now we'll talk about the posterior rollback. Now instant center of rotation is the point at which the joint surfaces are in direct contact. So if you see in full extension, this is the basically instant center of rotation. So if when knee is in the center, in the extension, the center of rotation will be somewhere here, right? So posterior rollback is a phenomena whereas the knee flexes and the instant center of rotation on the femur moves posteriorly. So from the point of extension to the point of knee flexion, this instant center of rotation will change. I will show you the next slide how this instant center rotation changes. This occurs due to the unique shape of the femoral condyle. So why this unique shape of femoral condyle has been posterior rollback, I will explain you. Like what happened basically is the flexion extension do not occur in a fixed transverse axis, but there is a center of rotation which changes. For example, in full flexion, posterior portion of femoral condyles are in contact with the posterior portion of the tibial condyles. Knee is extended, femoral condyles roll on tibial condyle and meniscus movement. This resembles that of the rocking chair. There is also sliding of femoral backward. As extension progresses, shorter or more highly curved lateral condyle exhausts its articular surface and it gets checked by the ACL. But whereas the medial condyle, which is larger and less curved, rolling will be continuous and it will skid backward and it will be assisted by tight PCL, this tight PCL. This is the way the posterior rollback happened in the knee joint.
Instant center of motion. Now flexion axis varies in a helical fashion in a normal knee, with an average of 2 mm of posterior translation of the medial femoral condyle on a tibia during flexion compared to 21 mm of translation of lateral femoral condyle. The relevance is posterior rollback. As the knee flexes, the instant center of rotation on the femur moves posteriorly. Now here you can see, so if I start with a point, yeah. So this is your center of rotation when your knee is at 0 degree of extension, so full extension. As soon as knee comes to a 20 degree, you can see there is a shift of center of rotation. It comes to around 50 degree, again you can see the change in the center of rotation. At 50 to 80 degrees, again there is change. 50 to 80 degrees, you can see change here, and 80 to 120 degrees you can change here. So as soon as knee starts flexing from 0 degree to 120 degree, the center of rotation also changes, and this occur because of posterior rolling also, and this will form a J curve. So it can be represented as a J. So you will see a J curve when there is a flexion of the knee from extension to the flexion.
So now we will talk about screw home mechanism. Screw home mechanism considered to be a key element for knee stability. What happens in screw home mechanism? Rotation between tibia and femur which occur automatically between full extension, that is 0 degree, and 20 degree of flexion of the knee. So what happened is in full extension of the knee, tibia glides anteriorly on the femur. Now in last 20 degree of knee extension, anterior tibia glide persisting on the tibial medial condyle because its articular surface is longer in that dimension than the lateral condyle. So on this figure you can see medial condyle is bigger, so there will be continuous gliding, but after some time the lateral side gliding will stop. But because the medial side condyle has to travel a lot because of the length, there will be a external rotation. You can see on the medial side it will start rotating. This external rotation in extension is called as screw home mechanism.
From full extension comes to flexion. So when knee begins to flex from the position of full extension, tibia will start rolling posteriorly. So what happens is the position of posterior tibial glide begins first because of the longer medial condyle. So between 0 degree extension to 20 degree of flexion, posterior glide on the medial side produces relative tibial interrotation, and reverse of screw home mechanism will result. The same thing is showing here where you will see interrotation of tibia from full degree of extension, that is 0 degree, and 20 degree of knee flexion.
So with this I will end the part 1 of biomechanics of knee joint. In the next part I will cover patellofemoral joint, role of ACL, PCL and meniscus and lower limb axis. Please do watch the next part. Till then, thank you very much.